You're listening to the Griffon Sports Insider Podcast, giving you an in-depth look at Missouri Western athletics with interviews, features, game broadcasts, and more. Here's your host, Tommy Rezaj.
Welcome in once again to the Griffon Sports Insider Podcast, our Turn Back the Clock series honoring the 1975 Missouri Western football team, a team that made history by winning the first ever postseason game in program history. Certainly, we're documenting the history of this program-changing year quite well, and we're talking with several members of that team. And today, we have the pleasure of talking to a left tackle originally from Augusta, Georgia, and a transfer of Wichita State University, a member of the 1970s All-Decade team, Mark Storey, joining us. Mark, thanks for taking the time. When you kind of heard this project was going to be happening as we honored the 50-year anniversary of this 1975 team, we know Scott Graham was the one that has kind of put this all together. Just what was your reaction when you heard that this team was going to be honored here this year?
Well, it's a great honor for I guess you'd say the pioneers of what we have now for Missouri Western football. And it's something that I think we've got a humble group of guys that played back then, tremendous athletes, brothers. I mean, I had left the military in 1974 and came to Missouri Western through Wichita State. And it was like finding, my old platoon in the military was these guys. I mean, they would go to battle for you. They would, stick up for you. And you always knew you could count on them to do the job that they were asked to do.
So, yeah, you were telling me you had graduated high school in 1970, which is the same year my dad graduated high school, actually, now that I think about it, and took some time in the Army, and then started your football career at Wichita State under then head coach Phil Fulmer, certainly a well-known name by this point. So you went through a spring there, but after that point, they were kind of just willing to let you go then. And so you found a new home in St. Joseph and Missouri Western. So kind of talk to me about that transition and what all kind of happened there.
Yeah, I played spring ball. I probably was not in the best shape that I could have been in when I went there for spring ball. And obviously they didn't think that I could cut it in their program. And Dennis Darnell, who coached at Missouri Western back in the 70s, he and another coach went to Missouri Western, and I got in touch with them, or they got in touch with me. I can't remember how it actually transpired, but I transferred to Missouri Western, and it was like, a being rebirthed. It was such a great opportunity. Rob Hicklin and his staff came in. I had the honor of playing for Coach Darnell my first years there. Then Steve Loney, who ended up coaching the Dallas Cowboys offensive line and many other pro teams. And then Randy Ball, who is now at the Chiefs. And so I got to play for some tremendous offensive line coaches. So my experience transferring to Missouri Western was probably, if you excuse the term, but a godsend.
Well, I think, 75, when you kind of look at the numbers, things kind of starting to come together for a team that had won only one game in 1970, 3 games in 1974, but over 120 players reporting to fall practice, 25 lettermen returning, 10 who had lettered at other four-year institutions. I talked to a guy like Walter Wilson, who came in from the University of Missouri to join this team. So when you think about this 75 team and what kind of set them apart, was it just a matter of more experience, a little more maturity? Obviously, you were a newcomer to this team, but what do you think was maybe the key contributor to this team getting on a run and doing the things they did?
Well, I think it was that we got some tremendous athletes from the University of Missouri. Walter, he was probably the classiest, and we had Bob Heinbaugh, which he was a tremendous quarterback as well as a great leader of that team. And you knew if you gave Bob Heinbaugh enough time, he was going to throw the ball and Walt was going to catch it. We didn't have any doubts as far as that goes. Tony Dixon and some of the other guys that played at that time and after him. They just led a tradition that we had some clutch players, and as an offensive lineman, Mark Lovelace was the guard, and then you had Bill Macon and Bill Tharp as centers. I mean, we had a classy bunch of guys, and everybody knew that the guy next to him was going to do their job, so you had to be sure to do yours. It puts some onus on you.
And of course, this team would go on to be 8-3-1, 7-0 at home, a ranking that rose as high to number 7, settled at number 14. All comes together with a blowout victory against Graceland in the Mineral Water Bowl, 44-0 at the time, the first ever bowl appearance, and it was the first ever bowl victory, first postseason victory for this program. I mean, talk to me about that bowl game. Obviously, it's just down the road in Excelsior, and of course, Mineral Water Bowl had been around already for 20 plus years. So kind of a marquee game, at least in this local area. After you guys had not only won, but won convincingly, I don't know, what did that do for this program, do you think? I know in the late 70s, this team would go on to win some more bowl games. So what did that 75 year and just the way it ended, how do you think that just changed the trajectory of Missouri Western football?
Well, I don't know if the other guys feel this way, but I'm pretty sure they do. It kind of set the tone for what this team was going to be in future years. We knew the accomplishments that we had made, and we knew that we just needed to continue to build on those, and the program would self-sufficiently pull in kids that became tremendous athletes. Bill Johnson, who transferred from Wichita State later in my career at Missouri Western, he continued the tradition of having a gunslinger quarterback. And if we could block the guys for the gunslinger quarterbacks, we had receivers that would catch the ball, and we had running backs that could run the dickens out of the football. Jay Randall, a super freshman at Kansas, then transfers to his hometown of St. Joe. I mean, we just that's what you call building a program, and you see it in the SEC and the ACC. Dabo Sweeney, the name escapes me. Alabama,
Nick Saban.
Dick Saban. Just bringing in great kids that continue to carry on that tradition. And I think that's at least what I left with after 79 season was we were going to be darn good.
Yeah, certainly. And of course, the transition into the NCAA Division II era, and of course, Jerry Partridge coming in the 90s, and that kind of set the tone for maybe the modern era as his offensive coordinator, Tyler Fenwick, now in charge. And yeah, you went on to have a great career. 1977 second team All CSIC, honorable mention All CSIC in 1978, first team All District in 77, and in the 75 season, Mark Storey, honorable mention All District 16. Well, 50 years later, how much are you able to follow? How much do you keep track? And I guess I'm curious, when's the last time you caught a game at Spratt Stadium?
I guess I try to stay in touch. Scotty always keeps me in touch. That guy is a dream come true for a friend. He'll always chat you up. So I've stayed in touch there. The last time I was on campus was the 50-year celebration where we got to see guys from the 74 teams, 75 teams, all the way through to the guys that we ended up playing with 3 and 4 years later.
Yeah, 2019, the 2019 season, which was a good one, which ended with a bowl victory that year. That was honoring the 50 years of Missouri Western football, and what we're doing here this year, honoring the 50 years of the first Missouri Western. There was the first winning season, and of course, the first bowl victory, as Mark said, a year that ended up being kind of transformative for the future of Missouri Western football, as going into year number 57. It's either 56 or 57. I'll have to do the math on that. But either way, Griffin football, this optimism is high here in 2025, and it's a year to honor history, not only honoring 50 years of women's sports all year long, but now 50 years since the 1975 football team achieved what they did under then it was second-year head coach Rob Hicklin, who did some great things with a slew of great players, some of them coming in from major Division I's like Kansas, Missouri, and Wichita State in the case of Mark Storey. And, of course, this celebration taking place Saturday, September 20th. It'll be a primetime game against Central Missouri. Pretty fitting, one of Missouri Western's oldest rivals to honor this night. Well, Mark, anything else you want to share about that season or just any memories or, just anything else we didn't mention?
Well, I just want the other guys to know that I still care about them like brothers, always will. Matter of fact, some of the guys that played even before us still stays in contact with the rest of us, which is a great honor for anybody that's played during those years.
Excellent. Well, Mark, thanks for taking the time. A pleasure to talk with you. Congratulations on this, and look forward to seeing you and some of these guys back on campus.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for the opportunity.